They never saw the Moonwalk debut. They never bought Thriller on vinyl. They never watched a single interview when it aired. Gen Z found Michael Jackson through 15-second clips surfaced by an algorithm, and something no one predicted happened. The generation most expected to cancel him became obsessed with reviving his legacy. But here is what makes this strange. They did not find the Michael Jackson the tabloids created. They found someone else entirely. Michael Jackson's story does not start with controversy. It begins with a boy in Gary, Indiana who could outsing and outdance musicians twice his age. By 11, he was leading the Jackson 5 through marathon Motown rehearsals, sometimes 14 hours a day, then stepping onto stages that left crowds breathless. The work was relentless, but the results were undeniable. Their singles, I Want You Back, ABC, and I'll Be There, shot to the top of the charts, making Michael a prodigy before he was a teenager. But it was his solo leap that rewrote the rules. In 1979, Off the Wall landed with a new sound, disco, funk, R&B, earning 10 Grammy nominations and selling over 20 million copies. 3 years later, Thriller exploded into a phenomenon. 66 million albums sold, 7 top 10 singles, and a short film that cost nearly $1 million but changed music videos forever. The Thriller video was not just a promo, it was an event with John Landis directing, Rick Baker's zombie makeup, and a dance sequence that still gets remixed every October. Then came the moment that still stops the scroll. March 25, 1983, Motown 25, Michael in a fedora and sequined glove glided across the stage, the moonwalk live for the first time. 30% of American TVs were tuned in. The performance became a visual language, instantly recognizable decades later in TikTok edits and YouTube shorts. His moves, the glove flick, the anti-gravity lean, the sharp spin became global shorthand for pop spectacle. By the end of the 1980s, Bad and Dangerous tours had set records for attendance and revenue, with the Bad tour alone grossing over $1 billion. Jackson was the first artist to win MTV's Video Vanguard Award. He racked up 13 Grammys and 13 #1 singles. His influence echoed in the next generation. Artists from Beyoncé to Bruno Mars credit him as the blueprint. Even now, the moonwalk and the hee-hee vocal tag are algorithm gold, perfect for a world that lives in loops and shares in seconds. At the core, it is these milestones, the sound, the spectacle, the signature moves that explain why when Gen Z stumbles across a clip, it does not feel like nostalgia, it feels like discovery. Tabloid headlines didn't just report on Michael Jackson, they built a new character one headline at a time. In the mid-1980s, British tabloids led by The Sun under editor Kelvin Mackenzie found a formula that sold papers fast. Turn Michael from the king of pop into a punchline. The term Wacko Jacko first splashed across front pages, a nickname engineered for ridicule. It stuck, circulation soared. The Sun's internal numbers show a spike of over 120,000 copies sold after the first big headline. Other tabloids followed, repeating the label until it became shorthand for every rumor and every odd photo. The commercial incentive was clear. Every bizarre story, real or invented, meant another sales bump. In September 1986, a photo of Jackson in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber ran with the claim he slept there to live to 150. The story was false, but it was irresistible. That issue saw a 15% jump in ad revenue. Editors saw the pattern: the stranger the claim, the bigger the payday. Stories about plastic surgery and skin color changes filled the gaps between albums and tours, turning speculation into daily news. Fact-checking took a back seat to spectacle. The language was always the same: wacko, monster, bizarre. Headlines did not just inform, they branded. Photos were cropped for maximum effect: Jackson behind glass, Jackson with a chimp, Jackson looking gaunt. The repetition worked. For many, especially outside the fanbase, the first image of Michael Jackson was not a stage or a song. It was a tabloid caricature, built for profit and recycled for decades. That is the version older generations grew up with, a version that Gen Z would only meet years later, if at all. A single swipe on TikTok can pull up a moment from 1983 that feels brand new. It might be the moonwalk slowed to half speed and paired with a trending sound, or a 4K clip where the sequined glove catches the light just right, drawing millions of eyes who were not alive when the move first stopped time. The entry points are everywhere, and they are multiplying. Creators like at MJ King Pop Vimeo, who started out posting dance tutorials for a few hundred followers, watched their audience explode by 45,000 in just 2 weeks after breaking down Jackson's footwork. One moonwalk tutorial alone pulled in over 2.5 million views. Hashtags like #MJMoonwalk and #ThrillerChallenge have seen watch time surge by 250% since 2020, outpacing nearly every other legacy artist. The numbers do not just trickle up, they spike overnight, fueled by For You page algorithms that reward anything instantly recognizable and endlessly replayable. It is not just TikTok. YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels are packed with remastered concert footage, reaction videos, and edits that loop the anti-gravity lean or the glove flick. The restoration community working with AI upscaling tools has turned grainy VHS tapes into high-definition showpieces. One 4K upload of a Dangerous Tour performance jumped to 2.5 million views in 48 hours, triggering a chain reaction of shares and new edits. For Gen Z, the first encounter is not a headline or a scandal, it is a burst of movement, a sound, a look. The algorithms serve up spectacle and creators remix it for the next scroll. What starts as a viral clip can become a rabbit hole. Dance challenges, trivia threads, then full-blown debates about artistry and legacy. The numbers are only part of the story, but they reveal a simple fact. Michael Jackson is going viral again, not as a relic, but as a living, breathing performance. One short, one share, one remix at a time. A 10-second clip is all it takes. Michael Jackson's silhouette, a flash of fedora, the glint of a single glove, a foot sliding backwards lands perfectly in the world of algorithmic feeds. TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels are built for moments that grab attention instantly. Jackson's choreography, broken into crisp, repeatable fragments, fits this rhythm better than almost any other legacy artist. The moonwalk is not just a dance move, it is a visual punchline. The anti-gravity lean, glove flick, or snap spin all deliver a payoff in under 15 seconds, right at the sweet spot for loop completion. Platforms track how often viewers watch a full loop, and clips that finish strong get pushed to more screens. Jackson's performances, designed for live spectacle but packed with micro moments, are made for this environment. Every beat drop, every freeze frame, every hee-hee vocal riff becomes a hook that is instantly recognizable even without context. Creators slice performances into tight segments, a glove snap synced to a trending sound, a footwork breakdown slowed to half speed, a single Thriller pose held just long enough for a meme. The choreography itself is modular. Each move stands alone, but also links back to a larger narrative. This makes it easy for fans to remix, duet, or stitch in their own reactions, multiplying the reach. Algorithmic feeds reward what is bold and easy to spot. Jackson's silhouette cuts through the noise. Even in a 3-inch vertical frame, the glove sparkles, the hat tilts, and the crowd's roar bleeds through grainy audio. Loop after loop, the performance never fades. Instead, it keeps resurfacing, sometimes as nostalgia, sometimes as pure discovery, but always as a moment that makes people stop and watch again. The spotlight that crowned Michael Jackson never really turned off. By age 11, his days stretched from sunrise rehearsals to late-night performances, sometimes lasting 14 hours without pause. Childhood became a blur of hotel rooms and studio lights, friendships traded for tour buses, and private tutors filling in for classrooms he rarely saw. The pressure to deliver perfection didn't let up, it only grew. In 1984, during a commercial shoot for Pepsi, a stage pyrotechnic went wrong. Flames caught his hair and caused second-degree burns to his scalp and head. He was rushed to the hospital, treated for severe pain, and would spend years managing the after effects. Behind every flawless performance and every viral clip, there is a record of exhaustion, injury, and a boy who learned early that the price of applause can be loneliness. Fame built the legend, but it also built walls that even the brightest spotlight couldn't break. Courtrooms are built for facts, not headlines. In 2005, Michael Jackson faced a criminal trial that lasted 73 days. It was one of the most scrutinized trials in pop culture history. 90 prosecution witnesses, 50 for the defense, and a jury that delivered 14 separate not guilty verdicts. Every charge was answered with an acquittal. The transcript is public record. Not guilty, not guilty, not guilty 14 times. Years later, in 2023, a California California Appellate Court reviewed the dismissal of 2 civil lawsuits filed after Jackson's death. The judges ruled that those cases could proceed, but the original criminal verdict stands. For Gen Z, the legal timeline is searchable. Verdicts, court audio, appellate opinions separating rumor from the record. The facts are there even if the headlines rarely caught up. Hollywood is moving fast to catch up. Director Antoine Fuqua took the reins on a new biopic with $15 million spent on reshoots to meet the Jackson estate's demands. When the first trailers dropped, streams of Michael's catalog shot up by 45%, pushing his music back into the global charts. Studios and streaming platforms aren't just watching Gen Z rediscover him, they are racing to profit from the momentum. Right now, millions of young people meet Michael Jackson for the first time, not through headlines, but through raw performance. In a world drowning in noise, Gen Z isn't accepting the story they inherited. They're writing their own. Sometimes legacy isn't about erasing the past, it's about daring to look closer.